Rabbi Jennifer Kaluzny. She is with Temple Israel. Thank you for taking time to be with us here on the Oakland County MegaCast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
What's so hard about our religious organizations? It's about a community, it's about people, and it's about connecting. But COVID has caused all of us to pause and how we're connecting with one another. How is Temple Israel bridging the gap in this crazy world right now?
So, what's amazing about Temple Israel is that we're the largest congregation in Michigan, the largest Reform congregation in the country, but we have a really small, intimate feeling. And actually, we have the nickname of the kissing congregation. We like to greet each other with hugs, with kisses, with handshakes. And so there's a lot of connection. There's a lot of physical connection. And we, being together in our sanctuary or in our outdoor sanctuary to pray together, is a feeling that we were really concerned that we couldn't recreate virtually. And 7 months in, I'm really proud to say that our worship services have evolved such that I think that we really achieved that. You know, at the beginning, there are 6 rabbis and 2 cantors. We are all in our own homes, and we were creating services through our cell phones. We were each participating and then putting them together and editing them. And we would put them on Facebook and our YouTube page, and we would watch with our congregants, and we would talk to them as the service was going on, and we were interacting that way. And they said actually that seeing us with our families and in our homes and really kind of made them feel like we were all spending Shabbat, the Sabbath, together. So just having that kind of intimacy was surprising and wonderful. And most recently, we've had the challenge of the Jewish high holidays, which is a time when we gather at Temple Israel in the thousands. Literally, we can have 10,000 people come in and out of our congregation in 2 days. And every congregation in the country was speaking to each other, and we said, how do we do this safely? How do we bring people in? And at the end of the day, we decided we could not do it safely. And the health and safety of our congregants is most important. And so we created services. Some were highly produced. We're very lucky. We have wonderful congregants who are in this industry, and they helped us create beautiful services that I think really touched people. The feedback has been extraordinary, that even people have said, I never thought that sitting in my own living room watching a screen could make me feel like we were together ushering in the new year. And so I'm really proud of Temple Israel that I think we've made the transition very well, but we still feel like it's a challenge that we face every week on Shabbat, on the Sabbath. And we're always looking for ways to connect even more with our congregation.
The ones I worry about are really the seniors. Young people get it. They're growing up with this technology, and even the people that are a little bit older who maybe are in their, 40s, 50s, 60s were adapting to it as well. But the seniors, I worry that they're being left out. Anything being done to directly try to reach out to the seniors, members
Ab-
of your faith?
Absolutely. And I have to share with you, I've been a hospice chaplain for 20 years. I spend most of my time doing pastoral care and chaplaincy, and I absolutely love seniors. I think they are the most interesting, funny, engaging people. So this has been at the top of my list as well. And really the cornerstone of Temple Israel is pastoral care. And so when the pandemic began, we mobilized an army of volunteers immediately to call every member of our congregation 80 plus. Now we have a membership of over 3,400 families, which we estimate is roughly 10 to 12,000 people. So that's quite a large number. Once those calls were completed, we took the age down to 75 plus, and then we went to 70 plus. Now that those calls are completed, we are starting over, and we are going to continue them regularly. Because I spend a lot of time in assisted living facilities and nursing homes, I called each of them to make sure that they knew how to access our services online, and if possible, if there were devices, be it iPads, smart TVs, where they could socially distance seniors safely, that they could worship with us on Shabbat, on the Sabbath. We actually, just now, we have a fund at our congregation in memory of an amazing man. His name is Isaac Pan of blessed memory. His wife, Yetta, has helped us we actually brought the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, a two-piece part of the orchestra, to our Jewish senior living, two of our buildings, which are on the JCC campus at Maple and Drake. And they were in a courtyard and people were on their balconies so they could hear the DSO. It was phenomenal. We are working with families, we're working with caregivers to Zoom us in to people's rooms. Even at the end of life, I had a family call me, their loved one was dying and they knew she was COVID positive. And so I said, the best way you can get me close to her is put me on FaceTime and we can sing together, we can say prayers together. And that's what they did. And so we've been trying to do that as much as possible. And we want our congregants to know that if they are allowed in the hospital or in a nursing home with a loved one, call us, put us on FaceTime, join services with us, because we know that the isolation on seniors is so difficult. As have issues with dementia, the idea that they can't see faces, even if they can't remember their loved ones' names, they know the face is familiar, and to not be able to see them has been absolutely crushing. And so we are doing everything we can, and we're working on even more initiatives to get our faces and the love and connection of our congregation into these facilities and into hospitals.
Rabbi Jennifer Kaluzny with us on the Oakland County Megacast. She is the rabbi at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, joining us today on the program. And Rabbi, so much of this pandemic and moving to virtual has been about maintaining those connections through faith and through services. But there's so much in all religious communities in our area that has to do with outside of service-based community involvement to keep these groups so close knit and to keep up with people's lives and to continue to have that interaction. How has that been continued virtually or at all by Temple Israel throughout this pandemic?
So we always keep in touch with our members in different ways who are going through different life cycle events. Of course, when we shut down our congregation in March, we were the first congregation to say we are no longer having services, and we basically turned Temple Israel virtual in 2 days. But that meant that we had quite a few bar and bat mitzvah students, probably 50, who did not have their b'nai mitzvah, the ceremony of the coming of age ceremony, when they were 13. We kept in touch with those kids. We made sure those teens knew that we understood how hard it was for them to work for this, to anticipate this huge event in their lives and have it be postponed. So we kept in touch with our bar and bat mitzvah teens. All of us who had weddings coming up got in touch with our wedding couples and said, how can we help you through this process? How can we make this process still special and plan for the future? We continue. Right now, we have our religious school happening outside. We have a large campus. We actually put up a tent, a giant pavilion over our outdoor sanctuary. It usually seats 600, and we are having a maximum of 60 socially distant. So we are still having our religious school, kindergarten through 12th grade, on different days of the week, outside in different venues, to stay connected with all of our families, from our littlest ones to our high school kids. We're keeping in touch with our college kids who are now, a lot of them are going to college, and instead of maybe going back and forth, are at home. I just heard your guest before talk about Washtenaw County and how there's a stay-at-home order in Washtenaw County. We are doing programming that's reaching beyond Temple Israel. I took part in a program with the Black Jewish Coalition where we invited Susanna Heschel. She is an incredible author and speaker and thinker and professor that had over 100 attendees to talk about what is going on in our world in terms of racism and anti-Semitism, walking in the steps of her father, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel of blessed memory. So we are creating different kinds of partnerships with not only local organizations, but also national organizations in order to reach as many people as we can through either their personal needs, their emotional needs, or perhaps an interest that they might have. So we're doing our best to kind of, if you will, open the tent as wide as possible to bring in and kind of wrap our arms virtually around as many people as we can.
Rabbi, I've been lucky enough to attend a bar mitzvah at your temple. It was a beautiful ceremony, but it is a party afterwards as well. Yes. But I think about these kids, and they're not kids, they're now teenagers, right? And the work that they put into getting up there on stage, and so much pressure on them, and it's not a 1 week preparation. They're preparing for so long. So what do you think is going to be the future and for those types of ceremonies? When will they return, or are you going to treat them like weddings where maybe 40 people can return or 50 people can attend, or could it just be immediate family? So, as always, and what happens here in the Zoom world is we seem to have a little bit of a freeze on the rabbi's Zoom call. So hopefully we're going to try to get her back here quickly. Whenever we experience this, which we've really been pretty lucky because we haven't had this a whole lot, is I think about the teachers and what this must be like for them each and every day, because so many of them are using, if not this platform, a similar platform. And thank you for, are you back? You're back. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. My son is in 3rd grade in the next room, and my husband is a lawyer and he's working. So I think there's a lot of bandwidth being used. So I apologize, but
no, that's okay. Trust me, we're used to it and we understand what everyone is going through right now.
Thank you. So we began them again, and we actually had to change the format of the service. Our teens do start 9 months before their bar or bat mitzvah to begin studying. And we changed the format such that the rabbi and the cantor, my musical counterpart, could be at least 12 feet away from the teen. I am not used to that. I am usually standing right next to them. When they are chanting from our Torah, from our sacred text, which is all in Hebrew without any vowels or punctuation, if they lose their place, I'm right next to them to put them back in place, as is our cantor. So we had to kind of make the service self-sufficient so the student could literally run the entire service themselves with just some guidance from me or whichever rabbi was at the service via microphone 12 feet away. And let me tell you something, these teens have amazed us. They have risen to the occasion, and every family without fail has said, this wasn't what we were expecting, but it was beautiful and it was meaningful. And we're so proud of how our teen was able to pivot and rise to the occasion. And we've been so proud. And it's true, the celebrations that usually happen are not happening that way. We have had some families who have chosen to have an outdoor, socially distanced, people sitting at tables with people they live with, sort of small reception. And we have had some families say, we're gonna wait. We're gonna celebrate together when we can. And we've had some families say, you know what, it's okay. We did great. This is something we'll never forget for every reason possible. And we're proud of our teen, and our teen is proud of themselves. And it's okay just the way it is.
Everyone has a story to tell during this pandemic. Rabbi, quickly before we let you leave, anything you want to get out to the public? I know you guys are doing so much over there at Temple Israel. COVID-19 testing, so many virtual programs. anything that you want the public to touch on or to let them know about what's going on over there at the synagogue?
Well, I want to thank you for bringing up that we actually are a COVID testing site. We have COVID testing tomorrow in our parking lot from 9 to 4. You don't have to sign up for a time. I did it with my daughter last week. It is easy, it is safe, and I highly recommend anyone who needs to be tested to come to our parking lot. And what I would say is our programs are open. A lot of what we do is on Facebook Live. Some of it you do have to register on Zoom, but our programs are open. As I said, we want to open the tent and open our virtual doors wide enough that everyone feels welcome. And truly, as a leader of a house of worship, I know that my colleagues at not only the temples and synagogues in the area, but also the churches and the mosques are wanting our leadership and our houses of worship to be places where people feel safe, where people feel that they can come to, and I do mean virtually. We're about to start office hours so people can sign up and know there's always a rabbi available, because we're also just really good listeners. And I think that right now, clergy all over the country want people to know that we are here as kind of a safe harbor in this storm that just doesn't feel like it's going to end. And so, we at Temple Israel and at congregations throughout West Bloomfield, throughout Michigan, we want you to know that we're here to serve as many needs as we possibly can, because we're in it with you. We're parents, we're children. I haven't gone near my parents in 7 months. I miss them. I want to hug them. We are experiencing the same things. And so we want you to know we are in this with you for as long as this goes on. And we will be here for you when this ends.
I think when this is over, and if it ends anytime soon, we'll all look at a hug quite differently than ever before. But the good thing, hopefully, that comes out of this, maybe people who were interested in the Jewish faith but were too intimidated to ask or to come to a service, they may just log on and be able to use it as an educational time to learn more about the Jewish faith. Absolutely. And all that you are doing over there and for our community as well. So we want to say thank you so much for being with us on the Oakland County MegaCast, and we wish you and all of the members over there the best of luck, and let's just hope this ends soon.
Thank you so much. I wish you health and safety. God bless.
And quickly before I let you go, do you want to give out the website for those that do want to maybe log on to? Because I know you have so many virtual events going on as well.
We do. We have all kinds of good stuff going on. We are at temple-israel.org. And you can find us on Temple Israel's Facebook page. We also have a YouTube page where you actually can see our archived services and programs and all kinds of good stuff. But definitely head over to temple-israel.org and say hello to us. Join us.
Great. Thank you so much. I will say you have more YouTube followers than I do. So thank you so much for being with us. It was great speaking with you.